guys, how you all doing? So happy to be back to my channel. Welcome guys. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been with me for a while, welcome as well. So today's class is going to be a pattern making class. Well, if you're new here, my name is Egons. I love creating patterns and I love sewing as well. That's why I enjoy teaching others who are interested how to create their own patterns and how to sew like a professional. So, have you already subscribed to my channel yet? If you have not already done so, please hit the subscribe button right now so that you always get notified when I post new videos. And if you've got any questions for me, please don't hesitate to drop them in the comment section. I'll be really happy to help out. So in today's class, we'll be learning how to create patterns for a fitted dress with flounce, something like this. So this dress is going to have flounce in front and at the back. The flounce is going to be something like a sleeve. Well, not really like a sleeve, sure, but it's going to be something really cute to at least cover a bit of the arms. So if you're ready, go grab all your pattern making tools, your bodice block, because we're going to need them in this class. And then in our next class, I'll be showing you how to sew this dress step by step. So for now, grab your pattern making tools. Let's start drafting our patterns. Yeah. So to start drafting our patterns, now you're going to trace your front and back bodice block just like this. I've already traced mine. And then put all the details, your darts, your straight grain and everything that is needed. So once you've done that, the next thing will be for you to lengthen your bodice block. You're going to determine how long you want your dress to be. Now the next thing is, if you want it to be a bit fitted at the hemline, you are going to take in a few centimeters. So from your side seam, I'm working with the front now. This is my front bodice. Now from your side seam, you are going to take in about 2 cm or 3 cm, depending on how tight you want it to be or how fitted you want it to be. So from my hemline, this is my hemline, I'm just going to take in 2 cm. Now when you take in that 2 cm, from here I mark 2 cm, and you're going to connect it to your hip line here. It therefore means that we don't need this part anymore. So when we are tracing, we don't need to trace out this part. Okay? So we're going to do exactly the same thing for the back side as well. Okay, so once you've done this, the next thing we are going to do would be for us to draw our neckline. Now, this is a V neckline. You can change your neckline depending on, you're going to determine how deep you want your neckline to be. So for the front, I'm going to just take it down, say about 11 cm. So I mark from here 11 cm, and then you're going to determine how wide you want it to be here. So for me, I'm just going to take it in about 2.5 cm. So from here, I'm going to mark 2.5 cm. And then you're going to connect these 2 points together. Okay, so that means that when we are tracing our patterns, we don't need this part anymore. Now the next thing we're going to do is for us to determine the upper section, where we want the upper section to stop. Now you can decide to stop it at your waistline. For me, I'm going to stop it at my waistline. This is my waistline. Now you can decide to move it further downwards depending on where you think it will fit you better, or you can decide to move it upwards a bit shorter. It really depends on you. So but I'm going to leave mine on my waistline. So once you've determined where you want your upper section to be, the next thing will be for you to create your shoulder princess seam. that is pretty easy and straightforward. We're just going to ignore this dot. We ignore this dot here, and then we're going to ignore this dot here. Now, first of all, let me show you where my upper section will be. So my upper section will be from here, my waistline. I can already write it here, waistline. So I'm just going to cross them out. So that means that our shoulder princess seam is going to be, one of the patterns is going to be from here. This is my center front pattern. Now let me use a different pen to trace it out so you can see it very well. So that means you're going to trace it out from here, from your first dart leg, just like this, and then you connect it just like this. So from here like this is going to be your first pattern. This is going to be a second pattern here. This is going to be your side front pattern. Different. We just created two patterns by ignoring these darts. We ignore the shoulder dart and we ignore these waist darts. So we've got two patterns here to create our shoulder princess. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing for the back side. And then to create the princess seam for the back side, you're also going to ignore these darts. And you're also going to ignore this little shoulder dart here. So that means that our shoulder princess seam for the side back is going to go just like this. And then like this. So this is another pattern here. So in front we have 1, 2, and the lower skirt is going to be our pattern number 3. Now for the back, this other pattern here is going to be the 4th pattern, while the center back is going to be our 5th pattern. So this is the 5th pattern, while the lower skirt here is going to be the 6th pattern. So the next thing we are going to do would be for us to create a vent, the vent for the back side, so that we'll be able to walk, because if we close everything up it will be difficult for us to walk. To create that back vent is very easy. You're going to measure from your hemline, determine how long you want your vent. So for me, I want it to be from my hemline upwards. I want it to be maybe about 21 cm or so. Yeah. Okay, now you're going to add a little extra to it here. Let's say about 4 cm or 5 cm, it doesn't matter. So I'm just adding about 4 cm to it. So from here to here, the vent is going to be about 4 cm wide. Now I'm going to just connect it nicely to my back hemline, just like this, and then slant it the way I want it. You can slant it however you want it, it doesn't matter. So you see it. So that is going to be our back vent. And oh, for the center back, I forgot to mention, you also have to increase the width of the neckline. So what you're going to do is, we use 2.5 cm here. We took in 2.5 cm for the front neckline. So you're also going to take in exactly the same thing for your back neckline, so that your patterns will match. So from here, you're going to take in 2.5 cm or whatever you decide to take for the front. And then for the center back, I'm just going to bring it down just 1 cm, just like that, because I still want it a little bit high on the back. And then you use your pattern master to draw your curve nicely. Just connect the 2 points together, just like this. So that means that we don't need this part anymore. So now the next thing will be for us to create our flounce pattern. And to create our flounce pattern, we will need to measure our shoulder princess seam. Okay, let me measure the one in front here. Okay, so you take your tape measure, and then you're going to measure from here all the way down, like this, all the way down to where your upper section ends. Okay, mine is 42.5 cm, and then we're going to use that measurement to create our flounce pattern. So you're going to take a plain sheet of paper just like this, and then the length of your paper is going to be the length of your shoulder princess seam that you just measured. So mine was 42.5. So from here, from the beginning here to this place is 42.5. So whatever yours is going to be the length of your flounce. And then you're going to determine how wide you want your flounce to be. Now from here to here for me is 20 cm. That's 20. So yours can be wider, it can also be smaller. Now once you've done that, you are going to draw slash lines. So just divide it equally, maybe about 5 cm each of your slash lines. Okay, on the end of one of your on one side of your paper, you're going to write shoulder line, because this part is actually going to be on our shoulder anyways. It can be here, it can be here, it doesn't really matter. You just indicate one part to be the shoulder line, and then you slash open your lines. But before that, you can just number them. Okay, so you're going to cut them up to the point here, cut all the slash lines up to the tip here without cutting everything open. Okay, so once you slash them open like this without cutting them through, you're going to get a plain sheet of paper, and then you're going to spread them. Okay, on the edge of your paper like this, you're going to place your shoulder line just like this. Place it on the edge and use your sticky tape to hold it in place. Now you're going to spread this open. Now depending on how wide you want it to be, you just spread them open just like this. Now you can spread it open up to the end here. Now you use your sticky tape to hold them together in place. Okay, so now the next thing you're going to do is you are going to draw your curve. Now because this flare or this flounce is not equal, so you're going to determine, you're just going to randomly draw it. I'm going to use a pencil first, and then but this part you're going to leave it the way it is here. I'm not going to reduce it because this is the width I want for my flare on the shoulder tip. So from here you can just use your pencil to draw a nice curve. You see my curve is getting smaller, so you just draw like that. You just curve it in. That is getting smaller because this part is going to be really thin. The end here is going to be thin, so you can also continue from here just like that. So if you're happy with your shape, now you're going to use your French curve or your pattern master to curve it nicely to outline it. And then you're going to outline this place as well. You draw it in a nice curve, the tip here. Okay, so once you finish, you're going to have something like this. Now you're going to trim off this excess because we don't need that part. And then you're going to trim off this part as well. So once you finish, you're going to have a nice flounce just like this. Now you're going to place your tracing paper over it, and then you're going to trace it out. You're going to add your seam allowance, maybe about 1 cm or 1.5 cm on the hem here, and then you're also going to add here 1.5 cm seam allowance. Then on this shoulder line, this part is going to be cut on fold. So it's very important. So there's not going to be any seam allowance here. So this part will be cut on fold, on the folded edge of your fabric, so that this part is going to form the front part and the other part is going to form the back side. Easy peasy, right? Anyways, so good. So once you've done this, the next thing we're going to do will be for us to create the facing, the neckline facing for the front and the back. Let's start with the back facing first. It's a lot easier. So you are going to, on your armhole, you're just going to drop it down maybe about 7 or 8 cm. It depends on you. And then let me use a pencil to connect it. You are just going to connect it from somewhere here, your upper bust. Yeah, somewhere, something like this. Just, you can draw any shape that you really want, really. Yeah, something like this. So my facing pattern is going to be from here, my back facing, because I'm doing the facing all the way to cover the armhole as well. So it's just going to be one facing to cover the armhole and the neckline as well. Now for the facing, you're going to have a little excess here. You see the back has a little dart here. The value of this dart is 1 cm. So we're going to take off this value from the facing. Remember, for the body of the dress, we already have princess seam. Now, if we don't take off this value, the facing is going to be slightly longer than the dress when we finish. So I'm going to just take off this 1 cm here, the value of these darts. So from here now, measure. Hope you can see what I'm doing. From here now, you take off the value of the dart 1 cm, just like that. Now I advise that you already have traced out your patterns so that it will be easy for you to do this, so you don't have too many things all around. So I'm just going to take off this value, the dart value, and just blend it nicely with my back armhole. Okay, so that means when you're tracing your facing, you're not going to trace from here. I hope it's clear. I hope I'm not getting you confused. So that is going to be your facing pattern. Okay, so now we want to do the front facing. We have to cut it open at where the upper section ends, and then we'll have to close our dart so that we'll be able to create the front facing. So now I'm just going to cut this open all the way down to the bust points or the apex so that I can close my shoulder darts. And then you cut on one leg of your dart Okay, so you just close the shoulder dart. We don't need the shoulder dart for the facing. Okay, if you have a wonky neckline, shoulder line here, you can just correct it nicely. Good. So whatever value you took for the back side is what you're going to take for the front side as well. And then I use my pencil to draw my curve the way I want it. So right now I have my front facing. So the front facing is going to be like this, all the way down. So you place your tracing paper over it and then trace out your front facing. Okay, so I finished tracing out all my pattern pieces. Let me quickly walk you through them. I've got 9 pattern pieces in all. Now, this is the first one. This is center front piece, and this is going to be cut 1 on fold, so there's no seam allowance on the folded edge. And then this is the side front. This is going to be cut 2 pieces. While this is my side back, this is going to be cut 2 pieces. Then this is my center back. This is also going to be cut 2 pieces. Now this is the front facing, and this is going to be cut 1 on fold, so no seam allowance on the folded edge. And this is the back facing. This is going to be cut 2 pieces. While this is the flounce, the front and back flounce, and this is going to be cut 2 pieces on fold. Okay, now this is the lower skirt, and this is the center front lower skirt. This is going to be cut 1 on fold, and this is going to be cut 2 on this is going to be cut 2 pieces. This is the center back skirt. Now for the center back skirt and the center front skirt, the seam allowance or the hem allowance is, I added about 5 cm hem allowance, and then 1.5 cm all around. So once you finish tracing out your patterns, adding the seam allowance and everything, that will be it for this class. I hope you enjoyed this class, and I hope it wasn't really difficult. And remember, as always, if you do, remember to leave a comment for me and then subscribe to my channel. And if you get to make yours, I'll be really looking forward to seeing your make. You can tag me on Instagram at Trex Fashion or on Facebook at Trex Fashion. Same name on every platform. In our next class, next week, I'm going to be showing you how to sew this fitted dress. So looking forward to seeing you in my next class. Have a blessed day. Bye bye.